All right, guys. First of all, hello everyone, and welcome to our Fall 2020 Interfraternity Council Orientation session. My name is Bennett, and I'm the Vice President of Recruitment Programming for the IFC. Today, we're going to cover all things fraternity, specifically focusing on who we are and our Fall 2020 recruitment process. Following the presentation, we're going to open the floor up for you guys to give us a live Q&A session. So if you have any questions that come up during or after the presentation, please enter them into our question feature down towards the bottom of your screen. At this time, I'm going to turn it over to my partner, Neo.
What's goody? What's goody? I'm Neo, the IFC's Interfraternity Council's Vice President of Recruitment Marketing. So if you're registered for IFC Recruitment already, I'm the guy that sends the emails out to all of you for upcoming recruitment events and also during summer and now fall. In this presentation, we will go over several announcements which include how we're responding to COVID-19 pandemic and how it's impacted our recruitment process. For more information about our operations that have been impacted, please visit our website at oregonstate.edu/CFSL. Don't worry, that's going to be linked in our chat. And we'll be glad to have some of your time. Now, moving on, I want to give the floor to our fraternity advisor, JP.
Thank you, Neo. Hello, everyone. My name is JP Peters, and I am the acting director for Fraternity Sorority Life here at Oregon State. And I'm happy that you decided to join us today for orientation, as well as our community. Joining a fraternity is one of the greatest experiences you can have in college. These organizations have a long history and legacy of providing students with friendship, which we know as brotherhood, leadership opportunities, networking with alumni, and much more, when it is done correctly. Oregon State University takes a strong stance against hazing. No person joining one of our recognized fraternities should subject themselves to any conduct that endangers the mental or physical health and safety, whether you voluntarily do it or forced in order to be initiated, receive admissions into, affiliate with, or advancement within any student organization. Again, it's a strong stance against hazing. Please review the student code for OSU hazing policy incomplete. I will also provide the link if you experience any of these things during your new membership. Here's the information. I'll put the link into the chat so you can see it. Again, Oregon State strong stance against hazing. I will be monitoring the Q&A feature so you can, again, at the end, we'll have time for Q&A and then you get your questions answered. Now I'll turn it back over to Neo, or Bennett, actually.
Thank you, JP. And first of all, what exactly is the Interfraternity Council, also known as the IFC? Well, we are the largest student group on campus and the fraternity-only governing body for the traditionally housed chapters on campus. We have 22 chapters recognized by the university, and you can find them all listed on the CFSL Go Beavs, Go Greek publication. JP will link that in our chat. Our largest chapter has 130 members, and our smallest chapter has 8. The average chapter size is about 50 men per chapter. Currently, 16 of our 22 chapters are housed. And all fraternities with a house have a live-in advisor called a house director or resident advisor. The IFC is one of 3 governing councils within fraternity and sorority life that has fraternities. So if you don't find what you're looking for in one of our IFC chapters, or if our process doesn't sound like the right fit for you, I definitely urge you to consider checking out one of the other fraternity processes, because we definitely believe that there's a place for all of our students to belong in our community. The 3 fraternities that are not in the IFC are listed on the screen right now, and you'll see them also on our registration page. And you can also get to know them during the IFC process. These fraternities are Omega Delta Phi, which is a Latino-founded fraternity that is a member of the Multicultural Greek Council. And then we also have 2 National Panhellenic Council, or MPHC fraternities as well, also known as the Divine Nine or D9. NPHC fraternities are historically African American organizations, but accept members of all backgrounds. And we have chapters of Kappa Alpha Psi fraternity and Phi Beta Sigma fraternity. So if you'd like to learn more about these fraternities, you can check out the CFSL website and publication and find each chapter's contact information there. You can also attend our fraternity fair tomorrow night, and talk with each non-IFC chapter then. With all that being said, becoming a part of the IFC community is a great way to get more connected to the OSU community as a whole, build lasting friendships, and grow into the best version of yourself. I'm going to turn it back over to my counterpart, Neo, to share more about why he decided to join an IFC fraternity personally.
Thank you, JP. Thank you, Bennett. So I'll share a brief story how I became part of the largest student-led organization at Oregon State. So my background, I'm from Victorville, California, in the SoCal area. So I didn't know many people coming from Oregon State, let alone Oregon. So with that being said, I was nervous about getting ready for college. And don't get me wrong, I was excited I graduated high school, but again, ultimately downhearted that I was going to be away from my friends, my family especially. So I knew I couldn't take them with me, and this college journey was going to be a long one, and even longer if you're alone. So I looked into some of the clubs and organizations at Oregon State, from the cultural clubs to the sports clubs, where I eventually came across Greek life. So my initial concern with that, from what I've heard through the media and different sources, is the hazing. Will I be hazed if I join a fraternity? However, due to more research, more proactive research on my account about Greek life at OSU, I quickly learned that there's no hazing policy in any IFC affiliated fraternity or any fraternity and sorority life in general. So that's great news there. And if any fraternity fails to abide by these rules, then they'll be referred to the IFC and university's conduct process. So additionally, chapters gave back to the community in tremendous ways, which highlighted my service values, and they also rewarded academic excellence to its members with scholarships, especially when finances are a big concern, especially in our college years. So I personally value service and nonprofit work as well as these academics, which made me motivated enough to go to an IFC event like you saw here, and where I can meet these chapters personally and potentially go through recruitment process, which I did. Since then, it's been an adventure. I'm a third year student studying business administration and political science. These past few years have been the best years of my life. So motivated academically with the academic resources fraternity organizations provided. Was able to ace tests, whatnot, stay on task. Additionally, helped me build connections with fraternal organizations, and not just fraternity life, but also sorority life too. Having this networks and friends along the way is great. And again, lastly, it's just fun, the overall fun. Being with my best friends, who are all with a fraternity background in my own brotherhood, and also fun serving the community in nonprofit work through volunteering and fundraising and an active brotherhood. So I would have not experienced any of this without being part of a fraternity community. And now that you know a little bit more about my story, I just want to share some few key components of IFC fraternity life. So if we want to move on to Bennett, philanthropy and service. So here in an IFC chapter, each of our chapters supports a local or national philanthropic organization by sponsoring events, volunteering, and fundraising. So these events are an integral part of our Greek community as they bring together members of all councils to unite for a greater cause. Additionally, chapters can participate in various community service projects, such as park cleanups and meal serving that take place all over Corvallis. Moving on to housing as part of an IFC fraternity for those chapters that are housed. If you want to move on to that housing portion, thank you. As previously mentioned by Bennett, 16 of our 22 chapters are housed, and we find it very important to talk to you about what a house experience looks like. All of our house fraternities have a live-in director, either house mom or dad, that works to keep the house in order and is supportive of all the men living inside the house. So each chapter's national organization manages if alcohol is permitted in chapter facilities. So take note of this. So there are a number of chapters that are alcohol permitted, which means alcohol is allowed within the facility if you are 21 and over. And on the other hand, alcohol prohibited, which means alcohol is not allowed no matter your age. So be sure to check with the CFSL publication about amenities chart for more information on that. Additionally, living in a chapter house is indeed a memorable experience. This is usually cheaper than living in an off-campus apartment. So if you're a freshman living in the dorms or have decided to live in the dorms, a good alternative to pursue is fraternity life, because our fraternity or house fraternity. So you want to again, focus on that finances, because that was my plan after I lived in Cawthorn for some time. After my first year, I immediately moved to my fraternity house. So member experience and the chapter's living requirements vary. And that's a thing with all house fraternities. It varies between 1 and 2 years, depending which fraternity you're in. So it's best to check with the chapters you're interested in. Most chapters don't require you to move in as a first-year student, so you can enjoy that dorm experience if you so decide. But again, check in with a chapter to see if they're allowed for first-year students to move into that chapter house. Also, if you're not looking into that, or if you're not just don't dig the house experience, there are unhoused chapters as options for y'all. For you to, if you want to still enjoy the brotherhood and still joining a fraternity just without the living in experience, there are members of these chapters, or there's chapters who have their members who often live together in an off-campus apartment. So make sure you research which chapters are unhoused so you can look in that avenue. Moving on to scholarship, which is a significant part of not just fraternity and sorority life, but us as students. So here, academics are an integral part of all of our organizations. There are minimum GPA requirements to both join and stay in good standing with each fraternity. So chapters often offer their members a variety of academic support resources like tutoring and academic achievement rewards and our scholarships. Many of our chapters are offering scholarships right now that incoming students can may be able to still apply. So make sure you check in if you're looking into these chapters. Talk to the recruitment chairman if they have those opportunities for y'all. Be sure to check in with also your OSU email for any details, and also visit our website for more information on how you can apply to those scholarships. So, and that link will be added into the chat right now. So that'll take you straight to any and all the chapters offering scholarship opportunities. And moving on, I'll let Bennett explain our recruitment process this term. So go for it, man.
Yeah, already. Thank you, Neo, for that great overview of our community as a whole. At this time, I'm going to shift gears a little bit and talk a little bit more specifically about our fall 2020 recruitment process. Before I get too deep, just know for the first time this year, IFC recruitment does require registration to participate. Recruitment is still 100% free, but if you haven't already registered, we ask that you do so now. The QR code to register is up on the screen, so take out your cell phone, give that a quick scan with your camera app, and it will pull up a website to register. It only takes a moment. I'm going to give you guys just a second to do so. And awesome. All right. So additionally, if you're watching here tonight, congratulations. You've made it to the first day of fall recruitment. So what does the rest of the week look like? So as per usual, fall 2020 fraternity recruitment is taking place during week 1 of fall term. The first 2 days of recruitment week, tonight and tomorrow, will consist of IFC council hosted events, while Tuesday through Sunday will open up and consist of individual chapter hosted events. On Monday, October 5th, the IFC will virtually commemorate all of those who have decided to join our fraternity through a virtual sort of event there. So more specifically now, tomorrow, Monday night, will be our annual Fraternity Fair, hosted virtually using a great platform called Remo. That event will take place from 7 to 10 p.m. You can see on the screen kind of an idea of what it will look like. All 22 IFC chapters and the 3 non-IFC chapters are excited to be in attendance and will actively search out new members. I can't recommend this event enough as it is your only time to connect with all 25 fraternity chapters OSU offers. Again, the event will last from 7 to 10 p.m. and we'll have every single fraternity chapter in attendance, so make sure to be there. The registration for this event is in the chat now. Please make sure to sign up. Afterwards, starting on Tuesday, chapters will begin to host their own individual recruitment events. Each individual chapter can be found in our IFC recruitment graphic that will be posted later today. Individual chapter events this year will range from meeting the brothers to watch along parties to video game tournaments. You can choose to attend as many chapter events as possible, but again, I would highly encourage you all to attend our fair tomorrow night and use that opportunity to determine which chapters you would like to follow up and go to their events. Events will last until Sunday, when the final bids will be given to potential new members. It is certainly worth noting that each IFC chapter has committed to hosting strictly virtual events due to health and safety concerns surrounding COVID-19. In addition to hosting virtual-only events, chapters have also agreed not to allow in-person house tours in order to prevent the spread of COVID-19. So to make up for this, many chapters have put together virtual house tours. These videos can best be found on their individual chapter Instagram accounts. You'll notice a lot of them have them on IGTV, so just pull up their Instagram accounts and go check those out. Very cool that our chapters have put those together. Now that I've laid out what fall recruitment and that schedule consists of, let's just go over some steps that you guys will all need to take to join our community this fall. And step one is registering for recruitment. So I know many of you in attendance have probably already registered, so congratulations on completing the first step. Like I said earlier, registration is 100% free and can be done in a matter of minutes. After registering, your contact information will be sent directly to your recruitment chairman of each chapter, and they may contact you to discuss their own recruitment programs. Step two would be to check out chapter profiles and social media pages to learn more about each chapter. Attending tonight is definitely a great start, but our community does have so much to offer that I recommend doing a little research on our chapters before attending their recruitment events. Most chapters have very up-to-date websites that have contact information, chapter values, and chapter statistics. And remember, each chapter is a little bit different, so we definitely recommend doing your best research to which chapter will suit you best. We definitely recommend looking through the chapter's social media pages, as well as reading about each fraternity's core values and missions. This can all be found on our Instagrams or on our IFC website. Step three would be to attend chapter events. So starting with tomorrow night's Fraternity Fair, the best way to go about attending chapter events is to be proactive. The contact information from each chapter's recruitment chairman can be found in our recruitment graphic, as well as on each of our chapter's own social media pages. Reach out, say hello, don't be shy. Each chapter definitely wants to hear from you as much as you want to hear from them. So make sure to reach out and connect. The best way to do so would be to reach out to the chapter's individual recruitment chairman, and that can normally be done by either text, phone call, or email. So make sure to look up the chapters that you would like to learn more about and get in contact with them. Step four, after you've attended those chapter events, would be to receive a bid. So after you've spent enough time with the fraternity and the fraternity deems you to be of adequate character and merit, they will give you what we call a bid. A bid is simply an invitation to join the fraternity, and you may receive bids from several different fraternities. Once you do accept a bid, you are considered a pledge of that fraternity, and you cannot accept multiple bids from different chapters. So make sure you've made your mind up when accepting. The traditional way to accept a bid is to sign it, but because of COVID-19, each individual chapter may offer bids slightly differently. When a chapter offers you a bid, they will give you further instructions on what to do and how to sign it. And step five, so you've gone to your recruitment events, you've done your research, you've signed your bid, and now you have started the process of becoming a member of the fraternity. So the new member process varies significantly among fraternities. While a new member, you will continue to build connections with the active brothers and learn more about the fraternity. The fraternity will guide you to brotherhood as long as you hold yourself to their standards, and the vast majority of new members do become members in the end. So you've done all of that, you've on your way to becoming a member of the fraternity, and the last step is initiation. So through some sort of traditional ceremony, the fraternity of your choice will make you a full brother. This is generally a secret process that will connect you with the history of your fraternity and the men in it. So hopefully that was all easy enough to follow. Keep in mind that outside of fall recruitment, IFC chapters do continue to hold informal recruitment events throughout the year. So if you don't find what you're looking for at first and fall recruitment, there still may be a chance to get to know our chapters throughout the year. At this time, now we're going to turn it over to our Q&A section. I'm going to throw it back to JP to moderate. But please make sure to ask away and we will be sure to answer. So thank you guys. JP?
Thank you, Bennett. So a couple of questions that have come in is the general question: what are the best chapters? What are the best fraternities? Bennett, could you answer that?
Yeah, I'd love to. Thank you, JP. So we did get this question, and obviously the answer to this question is subjective. We have 22 great IFC chapters for you to join and 3 non-IFC fraternities. So like I said before selecting a chapter to join, you should definitely check out their profile, meet some of the members, and find out the right fit for you. We definitely encourage you all to look into their values and really get to know the chapter as best you can, because each one of our chapters has something great to offer and something unique. So the short answer to that is none of them are the best, but they are all great in different ways.
Thanks, Bennett. I also want to add the piece of you need to find the best chapter for you. And so finding that group is always the key to joining the best fraternity for you. Another question is about cost. I know earlier Neo mentioned a little bit about financial pieces. Neo, what are the costs of joining a chapter?
Hey, JP. For this question, what it costs to join a chapter? Well, first of all, the Greek experience is an investment in your future. The leadership skills, academic assistance, friendships will benefit you beyond their college days. So the perception that fraternities and sororities are only an option for rich students is widespread and false. Greek organizations are quite affordable and fees go to services that will positively impact you. To assist members, chapters may offer scholarships and grants. On that financial note, the cost to join will vary from chapter to chapter. There are 3 kinds of costs, with one-time costs, which means new members and initiation fees, recurring costs, which membership dues, room and board rates, and lastly, special costs from t-shirts to social functions, etc. So it depends. You have to ask various chapters specific questions about each area. Oh, excuse me. About each area. So you may want to refer the financial information section of of our website for cost information on various fraternities and sororities. So we encourage all interested students to ask for financial information prior to joining.
Yeah, and just to add on to that, thank you, Nia, that was great. Just to give you guys just some ideas of the ballpark, our average IFC cost for living out would be $450 a term, and our average chapter cost for living in, which remember does include food, all commodities such as that, is normally about, I would say, I believe it's $2,400 a month, or excuse me, a term, and that does include amenities and food. So keep that in mind as well.
Thank you, Bennett and Neo. Another question. So if I participate or if I go through IFC recruitment, do I have to join this fall?
Yeah, so thank you. That's another great question. So no, you do not have to go through, join a chapter this fall, even if you do go through fall recruitment. We definitely want everyone in our community who is interested in joining to find their place. However, if you do feel like you need more time to decide which fraternity or which council is best for you, please do so. But our chapters are very excited to welcome you in the fall. We do normally have spring recruitment as well, so keep that on your radar. But if you do decide to go through fall recruitment and end up not picking any chapter, that's totally fine, and that's not a big deal at all.
Thanks, Bennett. Another question is, where can I find the individual Zoom fraternity events? So that's to you, Neil.
For Zoom, so we have there's a brochure that has a list of all the recruitment events from other chapters. So with that, we're waiting from the Creative Studio from the Memorial Union so we can post that, or we're expecting it tomorrow. We'll be presenting that within the virtual fair tomorrow. So be on the lookout for that. And also it'll be on our IFC website when it's posted. So for now, if you want to look at these Zoom events, Zoom links, you may have to contact the chapter you're looking into. So all week long, or the past couple of weeks, the IFC Instagram has been posting all the recruitment schedules of all the IFC chapters. So most of them have decided not to share their Zoom events unless you RSVP and reach out to them. So it depends. You have to reach out to the chapters and go on from there.
Yeah, and just real quick, the only event there, or the only Zoom link that you guys really need to worry about at this point is our fraternity fair tomorrow night. That can be found on our OSU Greek Instagram, or excuse me, our IFC Instagram, as well as our website. From there, chapters, like Neo said, will direct you to their own Zoom events. So just really for now, just worry about tomorrow night's fraternity fair.
Another thing to include that, Bennett, if you guys, this is why we want to encourage you to go visit to our fraternity fair, because you can ask these questions directly from the recruitment chairman of these chapters. So you can ask them if you're interested in this chapter or this event in particular with this chapter. That's when you ask them, hey, is there a Zoom event or Zoom link with a passcode so I can join in? They'll happily give it to you.
So speaking of the fraternity fair, one of the questions that came in, what's the virtual fair going to be like, and do I have to stay the whole time?
Yeah, so that's a great question. JP, if you wanted to go back to that Remo slide, I think that's probably the best way to answer that. So there we go. So yeah, so our fraternity fair this year is going to be virtual. We have a really cool platform set up called Remo. Basically, as you can see here, each fraternity will have their own table, just like listed or just like shown on screen, and you'll be able to bounce around and talk to as many fraternities as possible. The event does start at 7 p.m. and we definitely recommend that you guys get there on time, but it will pretty much be open for the next 3 hours, so you do not have to stay until 10 p.m., but we definitely encourage you to stay as long as you want. Yeah, so really just you're going to join in, make a quick profile. It just takes a moment, and you'll be in our fair, and you'll be able to just bounce around, talk to each IFC and non-IFC chapter, and just learn more and ask direct questions to those chapters' recruitment chairs.
Yeah, in addition to that too, you don't have to, we encourage you to go talk to, and this is just my advice to you all, I encourage you to talk to all the recruitment chairmen as much as you can, so you have options to choose from, and so you can get a general overlook of who you want. So again, the options. So you don't have to be there entire time, especially when you have your dead set on one or two chapters. You narrowed it down, so where it's not mandatory for you to stay an entire time. But we do encourage you to take as much time as you need to immerse yourself, get contact information, talk to these recruitment chairmen, because they're here as much as you want to hear from them. So go on from there. So where it's open, I believe the recruitment virtual fair tomorrow is, Benny, you might have to help me on this one. Like, when is it stop? Like, you have about 2 hours, 2 to 3 hours, I believe, where you guys can these guys.
So the fraternity fair is going to be open from 7 to 10 p.m. So anytime in that range, you guys will be able to connect with them.
Great, thanks for answering that. And so again, like they said, the fraternity fair, normally under normal times, we'll be doing this in person, big room, table set up, and the chapters are there to answer questions, tell you about their brotherhood, as well as get to know you, and then you can hear about their upcoming event. And so another question that came up was, what are some of the charities or some of the philanthropies that fraternities do or are a part of?
Ben, can I give an example of your chapter? I'll give you mine.
Yeah, so I'm not going to say, my chapter particularly, but some great examples would be, different foundations. The Make-A-Wish Foundation, I know we have some chapters that have connections to the ALS foundations, but really I think the overall concept of philanthropy in the Greek community is all about working together. So, different fraternities will participate in other chapters, other sororities, philanthropies. And really, I think that's a great question to ask each individual chapter. I couldn't name all 22 off the top of my head, but I think that's a great place to start when you meet with your new chapters. Neo, do you have anything else to say on that?
Yeah, so I know there's some fraternities that they're affiliated with Cancel research. Again, another one with you, when you mentioned Make-A-Wish, there's some Greek organizations on our campus that support that. Our veterans too. There's some fraternities, a couple of them that support the veteran lives. Trying to think of more fraternities. They American Red Cross, American Heart Association, the Blood Drive. I don't know the organization with that, but he has Bennett mentioned. Again, I can't name all the charities for each fraternity supports, but this is definitely a question you can direct to the individual recruitment chairman tomorrow, especially when all of them are there, and ask him that question. But there's each, as mentioned in my philanthropy and service slide earlier in this presentation, each fraternity supports at most a local or a national philanthropic organization.
Thank you, Bennett and Neo. And again, all the organizations are doing great work, raising money as well as doing active service in the community. And so a question I have for you, Bennett, you probably, or everybody's probably heard a lot about hazing and deaths and things on the news. Is that happening at OSU?
Yeah, so that's a question that we do get a pretty good amount. Fortunately, students have been actively working at OSU on hazing prevention and peer accountability. I think JP or Nia mentioned this earlier, but we have had chapters closed due to hazing activities, and OSU does not tolerate or condone this behavior at all. Again, there's a very strict no hazing allowed in any IFC affiliated fraternity. And if any IFC fraternity fails to abide by these rules, then they will be referred to the IFC and university conduct process. Incidents of hazing should be reported to the CFSL or student conduct and community standards immediately.
Thank you all. That is all the questions that we have come in. So yeah, I think that ends our Q&A portion. But again, if you do have questions, feel free to reach out to Bennett and Neil or Ash Chapters. So I'll turn it over for Bennett for the closing.
Yeah, thank you so much, JP. And I think on the next slide, you'll be able to find the links to our social media and website. Those are also QR codes right there. And thank you all again for joining us today and participating in IFC Fall Recruitment. We really appreciate all of your great questions. Again, please don't forget to register for IFC Recruitment. And if you do have anything that comes to mind after the event, please don't hesitate to reach out to Neo or myself. Our email is up on the screen. We hope you all have a great day, and go Beavs.
Beavs. Thanks, guys.